It's a big world, full of difference and diversity. How you see others is influenced by your own cultural perspective, and how others see you is influenced by their cultural perspective. What happens when you speak? Do people from other cultures understand you in the way you intended? And what happens with different cultures in the workplace? How rigid or flexible is their approach to rules? Is formal or informal behaviour expected? And how do different cultures approach timekeeping? In today's global business environment, it is essential to learn how to navigate across different cultural landscapes. You need a good set of tools to do this. You need an understanding of how different cultures trade and do business, an insight into how different cultures communicate, and a clear idea of how different cultures manage people. To be a savvy global traveller, you need to be willing to undertake the journey of understanding other cultures. Develop cultural intelligence so you can communicate confidently across cultures.
A very good morning to everyone. Today my group consisting of myself, Sufian Hari, Jedelin Tay and Ten Suyong will be presenting to you the topic of, as you may have guessed, intercultural communication. We'll be using the following case study as an example, how eBay failed in China. The flow of our presentation for today will be as such. I'll be giving an overview of the case as well as the strategies adopted by eBay when they entered the Chinese market, followed by Jedelin, who will bring you through the possible reasons why the strategies did not work and how Alibaba capitalized on their local knowledge to outwit eBay. Last but not least, Suyong will continue to talk about the cultural differences, give recommendations, and conclude the presentation. So, how many of you here today are familiar with eBay? What about Taobao? Probably a much less, according to the Singaporean students, I believe. So what makes it so successful is to be able to outwit eBay in the Chinese market, one of the largest online auction sites. Let's take a look. Firstly, eBay is an online auction site as well as a shopping site, launched in 1995 in California. It has streamlined and globalized traditional person-to-person trading, which was traditionally being conducted through garage sales, flea markets, and things like that. Recently, it has also included a buy it now standard shopping. Taobao, on the other hand, which means digging for treasures, was founded by the Alibaba Group in May 2003. It facilitates C2C retail by providing a platform for small businesses and individuals to set up online retail stores, mainly catering to consumers in China, Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan. And this was what happened in 2004. In 2004, eBay entered the Chinese market with plans to dominate the market. It began its aggressive campaigns in order to dominate the market. And as a response, Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, created an e-commerce website or developed an e-commerce website, Taobao, to fend off eBay. And this was what he said. Jack Ma capitalized on his local knowledge and fought back very cleverly. He mentioned, eBay may be a shark in the ocean, but I am a crocodile in the Yangtze River. If we fight in the ocean, we will lose. But if we fight in the river, we will win. And true enough, they emerged victorious. In March 2006, Taobao had already outpaced eBay EachNet and became the market leader in China's C2C market. It held 67% of the market share, while eBay was left with 29%. In December 2006, eBay finally withdrew from the market. The competition is over. It is time to claim the battlefield. Before we look at why the strategies did not work, we first need to understand what did they do in the first place. So first, when they entered the Chinese market, they began its most aggressive campaign so that they can dominate the market within 3 years. They signed exclusive advertising rights with Sina, Sohu, and NetEase, all with the intentions of blocking advertisements from Taobao. But were all of these advertisements effective in the first place? They also injected $100 million to build up its China operation, showing advertisements almost everywhere. But were all of these worth it? They started a global platform of grouping its users from sellers and buyers, having 40% of their items listed as an auction, and also continue to charge for transaction fees and listing fees. Did all of these have a part to play in its failure? My groupmate Jedelin will now bring you through the possible reasons why the strategies did not work and how Alibaba outwits eBay in the Chinese market. Thank you very much. Jedelin, please.
Thank you, Sufyan. I'll now present on why eBay strategies failed and how Alibaba outwitted eBay. The main reason that Alibaba outwitted eBay and eBay strategies failed is because Alibaba understands Chinese culture and applied Chinese concept into China's market. Alibaba made use of its understanding of two main dimensions of cultural diversity, which are short-term versus long-term orientation of different cultures and cultural difference in terms of negotiating styles to outwit eBay in its strategies. I will now focus on the two main dimensions of cultural diversity in my following slides. Alibaba understands that Chinese are high-context negotiators who place more importance on building relationships than achieving economic gains, and Chinese culture places a higher value on interpersonal relationships and high-quality social interactions. On the other hand, eBay applied American model into China's market. Americans, being low-context negotiators, tend to take an impersonal view of negotiation. American culture also places a lower value on personal relationships. With the understanding of this cultural difference, Alibaba implemented strategies such as online chat function that allowed buyers and sellers to communicate virtually before trading. However, eBay did not develop such strategies. Instead, eBay's original intention of implementing Skype never came into fruition. Therefore, Alibaba had a better understanding of what Chinese customer wants and developed effective technology and strategies to meet the needs of the target Chinese customers. Alibaba also understands that Chinese culture places the highest value on personal relationships. This helps parents and buyers and sellers to simulate close personal relationships and build swift guanxi. Swift guanxi is a close and pervasive interpersonal relationship which is based on high-quality social interactions and reciprocal exchange of mutual benefits. Thus, the success factor of Alibaba in China has everything to do with cultural worldview. Alibaba also made use of its understanding of long-term orientation, which is pursuit of long-range goals under Chinese model, and applied Chinese model into China's market. Alibaba launched services free of charge. With its online chat function, it accommodates a worldview allowing such as guanxi, allowing savings for customers worldwide. Furthermore, Alibaba developed customer-focused and user-friendly features. This converts shoppers who would otherwise have made a single purchase and never returned into loyal customers. On the other hand, eBay made use of short-term orientation which focuses on quick payoffs. eBay had poorer and more expensive services. This results in eBay losing customers in the long run. Therefore, eBay failed because eBay failed to attract Chinese customers although it modeled its Chinese site on the line of its globally successful site. Although eBay captured the online auction market in USA, it used the American model instead of Chinese model into China's market. Thank you. I'll now invite Zhiyong to continue on the third dimension of cultural diversity. Zhiyong, please.
Thank you, Jedelin. Now proceed with cultural differences, but this time on behavior and preferences. For our case, there are four main differences. First, the local consumers are more cell phone savvy as compared to the internet. Knowing this, Alibaba offered instant messaging and voicemail for mobile phones. Then, for eBay Internet, the original plan of implementing Skype did not come to fruition, hence there was no such service. Next, they know that the local customers prefer television compared to other medias. So Taobao had advertisements on major TV channels, which sees the advertisements pop up as frequently as every 30 minutes. Whereas for eBay Internet, the advertisements on major internet portals actually had a lesser outreach as compared to the televisions. Third, local customers prefer direct sales as compared to auctions. Therefore, Taobao had 90% of their listing for sales, whereas for eBay Internet, they stuck to their global platform, which has some 40% for auctions. Last, Jack Ma knew the importance of 1C in China. Therefore, he provided platforms for spontaneous buyer and seller interaction. As mentioned previously, the instant messaging. Whereas for eBay Internet, no such service. Now I'll proceed to conclude. eBay failed based on three main aspects. First, they were low context negotiators who neglected the importance of 1C in China. Second, they were oblivious to the behavior and preferences of local consumers, therefore implementing useless marketing strategies and delivering of a service not to the liking of the local customers. Last, they were more shorter oriented, meaning they were hasty and they were ambitious to take over the e-commerce market in China. As a result, it lead to the negligence in the above 2 points. So in total, these three eventually led to the big fat F, failure. Now I'll proceed to talk about local context. So what can Singapore companies looking to enter foreign countries learn from this battle? This battle epitomizes the importance of local intelligence on the part of eBay. And local intelligence comprises of a few main components. We have language, culture, legislation, competitors, and so on and so forth. But for today, we'll only be focusing on language and culture. Before I proceed, let's take a look at a short clip regarding the importance of language.
Das hier ist ein Mindsektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät das Überlebensradar.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We're thinking.
What are you thinking about?
I hope you enjoyed the short clip. And now I'll proceed to talk about the language barrier. It's clear that there is a language barrier between the management, which was comprising of a German and American, who obviously knew nothing about Chinese, and with their local team of local employees. As you can see from the clip just now, there is apparent miscommunication between the German Coast Guard and the sinking ship, where sinking was heard as thinking. Hence, we propose the recruitment of officers competent in a common language, and most importantly, the language of the target market. Next, the naming of the service was something that was a bit hard for locals to relate to. Hence, we propose engaging local linguists to taper the name to local language so that it echoes better in the community. A good example would be how Toyota labeled their luxurious brand as Lexus in North America. Next, with regards to culture, will be the problems with local preferences. As I mentioned previously, to counter this, we propose the use of analytics, which helps you to know more about consumer behavior, and also market research, which helps you to know more about consumer wants. So basically, we try to be a spy and gather as much information as possible during the pre-launch stage. And using this information, we can adopt to local social behavior and also adapt to local business practices instead of using a one-size-fits-all solution. Now, to wrap up, I would like to quote a very famous Chinese strategist. His name was Sun Tzu, and he once said that 知己知彼，百战百胜. It simply means if you know the enemy and you know yourself, you do not fear the result of a 100 battle. So what we are trying to achieve out of these recommendations is appropriate allocation of resources, such that you can focus on market winning strategies and emerge victorious in any environment. Thank you. That's our references. Any questions from the floor?
Yeah, I have one question. I mean, I don't really understand how the 1C can help with the Taobao's success in China.
Because from according to Jack Ma, 1C essentially helps to establish relationship such that we talk to the buyer and seller, we can negotiate a price instead of just clicking on a button and just auctions for their money. Yeah. So it can actually help to ask for a better price. In the long run, right, since you know the seller already, you can actually continue purchasing from the seller instead of some other seller. So it helps to keep people on the middleman, which is Taobao, instead of moving to some other portals like eBay.
So which means that I get a chance to talk to the seller so that we can discuss. Can you give some discount?
Yes.
Okay.
So because
it helps.
And Taobao is a middleman, then they go through Taobao to it. So they actually keep customers on this particular portal instead of migrating to eBay. Yeah. So that's how we retain customers once they started using Taobao. Any other questions from the floor?
The question, I was wondering, so what's the status of eBay in China right now? Like, they are out of the market.
They pulled out totally in 2006 December.
for information, Taobao is entering Singapore market.
They have now a Southeast Asia accumulation point, so they're actually venturing into Southeast Asia market.
Are they doing well?
It just started.
Starting.
Yeah, it just started. So we have yet to see actual results, but I believe that there will be good statistics to show, given the very price competitive products.
Shipping cost will be a lot.
Very expensive.
The shipping cost, because it's international.
One question is, Taobao is venturing to Singapore, so what are the suggestions you can give to Taobao as how to tackle the Singaporean market?
That I will be using just now what I mentioned previously. You have to use analytics, you have to use market research. You have to find out what kind of, products. Yes, correct. And most people here are bilingual, so barriers-wise, language barrier-wise, there will be lesser. And by knowing what people want, you can bring in and target this audience what they want and advertise to them what they want. So you have a better, it's easier to sell, you see. Yeah.
They will have to deal with the multicultural.
I think the language is a huge barrier because there are a lot of Malaysians, Indians in Singapore, and most sellers in Taobao are Chinese. They don't really speak English.
Not only in Singapore, in this part of the world, in the Southeast Asia, you have like if you want to go into Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia.